I have wonderful news. We're going to use your song, Master of Insanity, on the new Black Sabbath record. But we have one problem. I'm sitting around and all of a sudden my phone rings and there's an English gentleman, an English voice on the phone. And he says, "Is this Jimmy?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "This is Terry Butler." And I go, "Terry Butler?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, I got your video from Sharon Osbourne." And then it clicked. I said, "Oh my God, this is Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath." And I'm going like, "Oh my God, I got this guy's a legend." I go, "What?" And so he goes, "I'm putting together a new project, a little not as heavy as Black Sabbath, and I need a guitarist. I want to know if you're interested." So obviously I jumped at it, and he flew me to St. Louis. He had a house there in St. Louis. I think his wife Gloria's family might have been from St. Louis. And he had a house in Birmingham, obviously. So first St. Louis, and then I was on my way to Birmingham. And we rehearsed in London and did all this stuff. So we get signed to a deal, and we're all excited. And the person, it was somebody from MCA Records, I believe. Whoever signed us got caught doing something bad. I don't know what it was, embezzling money or doing something. Anyway, he got fired. All the projects that he had got dumped. And we had just gotten signed with this guy. So, I'm back home, and, they were saying they were going to try to still do something, but nothing ever comes about. So just fast forwarding to 1992 a little bit. But 1992 is I get a phone call from Gloria Butler, Geezer's wife. And she says, "Jimmy, I have great news. I wrote this song with Geezer called Master of Insanity. I wrote all the music for it. I even came up with the title for it. He asked me if I could write a song that was similar to a Black Sabbath song. So I wrote this song. I had already been working on it. He loved it. We recorded it. In 1992, I get a phone call. She goes, "Jimmy, I don't know if you heard, but Ronnie Dio is joining Black Sabbath again. And I have wonderful news. We're going to use your song, Master of Insanity, on the new Black Sabbath record. They were recording Dehumanizer." And I was thrilled. She goes, "But we have one problem." And of course, there's always a problem. She says, "We can't give you songwriting credit because Tony Iommi will never let a song on a Black Sabbath record written by another guitar player. So we have to say Geezer wrote the song." And, so I'm going like, "You got to be kidding me." It's like, she goes, "Geezer's going to put your name in his special thanks, and we will pay you for the song when the tour is over." I mean, what was I going to say? No, you can't, they would have found a way to use it anyway. So, I wasn't going to, it was just nice of her, nice enough of them to call and even let me know. So, the album comes out, Dehumanizer. My song gets mentioned as one of the better tunes on the record in a lot of the interviews. Not only that, but it's added into their set. So it wasn't really considered just a filler song on the record. They liked it enough that it became part of their set list. So here I am. I go to see Black Sabbath playing, and I'm listening to my song being played note for note with Ronnie Dio singing it. And I'm just like totally floored. Now, Geezer wrote the lyrics, but I actually gave him the title. I had a working title in my head. So I told him this idea, for Master of Insanity, and he liked it. So he wrote lyrics based off of that. And they actually recorded the song note for note, pretty much, of what the demo is. The demo is actually on the version that I did, that we recorded, is actually on YouTube as well. So you could actually hear my version. It's a little faster than what they recorded it, but it's there. Matter of fact, the singer, Carl Sentence, who's the singer of Nazareth, Carl's the singer on that. Jez Woodruff from Robert Plant's band. He wrote Little by Little and Big Log, and he's the keyboard player on that. Gary Ferguson is the drummer. And Gary was, you could see Gary Ferguson at the beginning of Eddie Money's video, Shaken. He's the drummer. He played with the Hughes Thrall project with Pat Thrall and Glenn Hughes and countless other bands, just like a monster drummer. So yeah, that was the band. So I'm watching Black Sabbath, and all is great. They're giving me backstage passes and everything, and the tour ends, and that was it. I never received a dime. Not that I was expecting it, but I never got anything. And I'm a very honest guy, so people always ask me about this story, and you could tell people a million times in the world that you wrote a song, especially something that's on a Black Sabbath record. You're going to have some people that are going to doubt that you're telling the truth or something. But, pretty much everybody knows I'm not a liar or anything. So they pretty much all believe me. But finally, it got printed in a lot of books that I wrote the song. And then finally, there was a book that Ronnie Dio was interviewed for that came out. And Ronnie says it in writing that I wrote the song, that I wrote the music, and Geezer wrote the lyrics. And I was like, finally, thank you.
Vindication, eh? So your name's not listed in any remasters or anything, I'm guessing.
No, not that I'm aware of. But that song, you could hear it if you go to YouTube, and you could put in, if you go to YouTube, you might be able to put my name and write Master of Insanity. It might, like the demo version might come up like that. But you'll definitely hear the whole bass riff at the beginning. I actually came up with that idea. I said, we had Geezer do it. So as opposed to the version that Black Sabbath did, it's more in time. In fact, Vinny played drums with it at the beginning when that bass line comes in. On the demo version, Geezer just plays it by himself. Do 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 do, and then the whole band comes in. But Vinny starts right at the head with him. That's how you would know the difference of the two versions. And then, of course, when Carl starts singing, Carl's an amazing singer. You would hear that that's not Ronnie Dio singing. Now, Computer God, that was a song that I did with a whole different version of Computer God. That is more of a lighter version of Computer God. Geezer, what they did on the Dehumanizer record, they used the same title, Computer God, but the song is nowhere near the same.